I'm LuisDiego, and this is LuisDiego Works, a new show where I try to improve my life through cooking and woodworking. Today, we're obviously cooking, and it's a special one. Today, I'm making my #1 comfort food, lomo saltado. It's a super easy recipe that uses minimal ingredients and packs a flavor punch. Let's go.
First off, thank you guys so much for checking out my YouTube channel. I know I have a little bit of an ambitious goal of dropping 1 video a week. It's crazy, I know, but I know I can do it, and I'm really excited about this. It's been a while since I've been this excited about something. And what a way to kick it off than to show you guys one of my absolute favorite comfort foods. It's a dish I grew up eating all the time. It's my take on Peruvian lomo saltado. This is one of the first real meals I learned how to cook, and it's honestly still a go-to for me. It's basically a steak stir-fry, but way better than just a steak stir-fry, I'd say. So we start with some prep, of course. We're gonna dice this red onion, just a rough chop, nothing crazy. I want these nice little sort of bite-sized pieces, nothing that's gonna be too big. But remember, these onions will shrink a little bit when we cook them. After that, we're gonna get into our tomatoes. And did you know you can eat the little stickers here? But anyways, I'm trying something a little different. Dull knife, I know, I'm sorry. I'm trying something a little different here. Usually I quarter them and then call it a day. But I saw somebody skip the tomato center and just use the outer flesh. And they would julienne this, I guess you would call it. Apparently, I think the middle is a little too acidic or intense, something like that. Not super sure, but I was like, hey, let's try it. It looks better on video. This knife is dull, but hey, with the right technique, it still works, I swear. We'll toss this to the side, put it in a little cute bowl for visualization. After that, I've been told, specifically from my mother, that taking the time out to pick the cilantro leaves off of the stems leads to a better result. I think some people think the stem's a little too bitter for their taste, so I like to take the time to take off the leaves and give them a rough chop and set those aside for later, of course. Oh. And this is all you need. That's the veggie prep. After you finish the veggies, we get the meat going. I like using sirloin for this, but honestly, a lot of different types of meats will work. You can just use whatever you've got, We want to make sure that we use a thin slice, bite-sized pieces. That's, the only thing you need to worry about. I also like to pat the meat dry a little bit. I think there's better techniques for doing what I'm doing, but it makes a noticeable difference when you're cooking it. But we want thin slices of meat that cook fast and soak up all the flavors in the pan. And there you go. This is all the prep you need, to be honest. All right, we're moving on. We're popping some frozen fries into the toaster oven. Hit them with a little oil spray, that's all you need. Sure, we could make fresh fries from scratch, but let's be real. We want this to be quick, easy, and delicious. So these do the job just fine. Next, let's grab our seasonings. I've got mine right here listed. And also heads up, you'll need the soy sauce and oyster sauce for later on. It doesn't go on early. So get your wok pan on the stove and make sure it is hot. Add a little bit of oil, whatever you like. People like to use the high smoke point oils or whatever, but we're gonna skip that. And I'm just gonna use olive oil. Throw them in, make sure they're hot and they're cooking. Throw in your seasonings, your dry seasonings. Listen to that baby purr. What? Mix them around them and flip them. Right there, that char is what we want. That's my favorite thing. Now we're gonna move on to my favorite part, and that's adding the veggies into the pot. I mean, the sizzle drives me crazy. Every single time I make this, we give them a little turn, Usually you do this when the steak's about to be done cooking, then you throw in the veggies so they can all finish together. Give the veggies a few minutes to cook, then add in your soy sauce, your oyster sauce, and a few more tosses. I think I spent a little too much time on the steak. I think I cooked it a little bit too long in this instance, but nevertheless, we make sure to finish off with some cilantro, and look at that. Get a nice bed of white rice, get your fries out of the toaster oven. I know a lot of people like to throw the fries in while they're stir frying. I still like my fries a little bit crunchy. It's not the end of the world if they get soggy. I mean, it's just them soaking up all the flavors, but look at that final piece. Wow, I just could bite it through the screen. Just something like that.
And look how that turned out. Delicious, quick, easy, minimal ingredients. And of course, we can't forget a little dab of rocoto. Just a little bit here and there. Then let's give it a try. I don't normally eat it with the French fries, but I thought it was pretty necessary today. So you can do it without the French fries if you want. Wow. This is probably the best I've made it thus far in my entire life. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Well, thank you guys for checking it out. This is my first video. Be sure to follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. We're going to be doing the same content all the way around. This first week is going to be a lot of my comfort foods and foods that I know how to do. Next week, or the following weeks, we're going to get into this book right here, Food Lab, picked up on Amazon. I just looked like gourmet recipes. We're going to do a little challenge. We're going to flip to a random page, and whatever I land on is the recipe that I have to do for that day. That means going out and buying the ingredients, prepping, cooking, everything. And I can't look anything up, so tune in next week. Thank you very much.